Today, we're gonna dive deep into the infamous subreddit r/darkkenny. This group of individuals, if you ask me, is essentially trying to build a RICO case against Drake and uncover all of the webs of allegations that he has for shell companies, connections to Diddy, crypto payments for hits out on people in Toronto, LA, any city, you name it. It gets real dark. Hence the name of the subreddit. In fact, this subreddit was a huge proponent in investigating into a lot of the clues that Kendrick Lamar was giving within his songs, such as the suitcase that was allegedly in Drake's old hotel room. Like, honestly, I know it's pretty accepted that Kendrick Lamar won the beef, but I am so surprised that Drake is even standing with this many goons teamed up trying to destroy his career and life and soul. Now, some people might think that these are conspiracy theorists, and frankly, so do I, but maybe there is some merit to what they're saying. Let's check it out for ourselves. Look at the sheer dedication that these people are putting into destroying Drake. Oh my God, it's still going. They're doing more work than the FBI. Now they're connecting Drake to Pornhub and the porn industry, which I believe is a Canadian-owned company. The strangely Canadian history of the companies that control the online porn industry and the new monopoly that controls it. HeHub, guilty of trafficking at underage videos, was forced to sell to a Canadian investment firm, Ethical Capital Partners. Were they forced to sell, or did they just sell it for a fuck ton? Drake tied to popular porn channel Net Video Girls. All right, sheepishly, I'll admit I indulge in porn from time to time, and I'm gonna sound like a stretch, but ever watch that channel Net Video Girls or Net Girls or some variations of it? It's always the same dudes casting girls in their first porn shoot ever, but it's set up as a calendar shoot. Sometimes the producer interviewing the girls will talk about working popular artists and will reference one and they bleep out the name, and sometimes the girl will say blank. And most of the time they bleep it out, but it always sounds like they say Drake to me. The girls' eyes will light up. I always used to think that was just cat from the producers to make it easier to seduce the girls, but now I'm thinking, hold up, what if they are actually sending out IG ads looking for models for a calendar, talk on the phone, interview them to see how open they are, then invite them for an interview, tell them Drake will see this video, and then get them to take off their clothes. Some of these girls go on to get big, and this is where their first video is. Others you just see though once. Yo, what the can you talk about videos and Tinder and holy shit I am reaching, or some else. Check me on this. I can't text my friends this theory as clearly the amount of porn to know this is pretty damning. So asking for some help. Literally go to the newest video on HeHub and the girls say, Drake will see this? The producer says, yeah, I'm his right hand man. He sees everything. Drake is a very popular person. Maybe they say his name just a name drop and, you know, get the girl excited, but a lot of porn is also scripted, so it makes the girl seem more innocent and excited about doing the shoot. I don't know, but this is some very far-reaching evidence that he's connected to HeHub or anything or certain channels. I have a secret that you shouldn't tell anybody. Porn is scripted. The porn videos where the girls act like they thought they were going to be in a music video are all scripted. If it wasn't scripted, the porn company would be going to jail because they are literally committing a crime. Literally, dog. Could the whole Yeezy porn thing be a bit of a subliminal? No. Kanye is just a porn addict. That is a fact. He's literally said it. All his wives are even soft porn stars. And then they screenshot the hub. HeHub just put Drake beside their logo for his birthday. Imagine being so big that one of the biggest sites in the world acknowledges your birthday. I mean, yeah, he's the biggest artist in the world, or one of them, so they're gonna use it for like marketing, right? And then these Drake hater accounts start mentioning the lyrics that we discussed earlier where Kendrick was talking about like leaking his nudes, his missile, Adam 22 claimed. They be streamlining victims all inside of their home and calling them Tinder, then leak videos of themselves later to push the agenda. Kendrick is saying that they traffic the women, force them to get with men, then live stream it on the dark web to select clients who pay big money for codes to access the stream. This is common practice. Whether or not it's common practice by like other individuals, I don't know where they pulled the live streaming on the dark web. I think Kendrick meant streamlining victims as in like lure them in with the whole Drake allure, like you're gonna meet Drake or you're gonna have the chance to potentially smash, and then the homies come through and they do it instead of Drake because Drake, you know, he's got fine clientele, if you know what I mean. Ottawa-based criminal lawyers Solomon Friedman and Fadi Mansour and a retired chief superintendent with the RCMP, Derek Ogden. Its leadership team was in Montreal Thursday to announce the acquisition and to meet with MindGeek staff. MindGeek, which was founded in Montreal. Why is Drake so intertwined with these fellow Canadian pervs? Where was the connection of Drake to these people? Am I missing something here? HeHub owner MindGeek sold to Ottawa private equity firm. Okay, so where is Drake related or friends with MindGeek or any of these equity firms? And I totally agree that the corn industry is very messed up, and they probably do a lot of things like trafficking and fake modeling ads, and they're definitely partnered with larger websites where a lot of the content is very questionable, especially with like consent and like how much these girls and men are getting paid. But again, I don't see the connection to Drake. Yeah, okay, so HeHub gets $1.8 million settlement to resolve U.S. probe of trafficking ties, and they sold to the Zionist rabbi of Montreal, close friend of Drake. Let's fact check that. Danny K Beats, this random ass account with 6 likes, is the main source for this information. The only other source is Dark Kenny. Yeah, I see no other connection to Drake with this Solomon Friedman guy, so they're pulling that out of their ass. The origin of the company that owns all corn companies now lies with the founder Fabian Thielman, who, and I am quoting an article from the Financial Times here, borrowed hundreds of millions of dollars from Wall Street bankers to buy up corn sites around the world and collect them into a monopoly. And yes, a ZWord person, as were likely also the bankers. I am just giving you facts, whatever conclusions you want to draw on you. Just because Drake is half Jewish means that he's friends with another Jew. And they list the ethical capital partners. I don't see Drake here. Every name you see there is a ZWord person from Drake's literal backyard, and they are all associated with various arms of the Canadian government, and Montreal and Toronto are hotspots for international trafficking due to its membership in the British Commonwealth. They keep listing people associated with the private equity firm. Again, just because they're Jewish does not mean they're friends with Drake. Never knew Canada was such a hotspot for mafia and trafficking, but it makes sense as Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver all offer major cosmopolitan cities close to the border, which is why El Chapo and the Mexican Sinaloa cartel used them to smuggle into NYC, and San Fran. Montreal in particular offers sea access with one of the busiest ports in the world. Also in Canada, you have an alliance between Italian, like the Rizzuto fam, and Jewish mafias, and the Hells Angels are big time played there, and they actually accept all races. The gangs in Canada are incredibly diverse, with some gangs playing up to their diverse nature, like the United Nations gang. Gangs there will usually include a mixture of Jamaicans, Haitians, Somalis, Lebanese, Puerto Rican, Italian, Mexican, Indians, Palestinians, and the Chinese triads. And there is currently a war going on between them, separate from the Drake and Kendrick beef. Drake is in a lot of trouble. He made himself into a boss, but he didn't even realize there at some point his usefulness will run its course. Oh my God. Listing out a bunch of facts and then saying Drake is Canadian and may be associated with a gang, even though there are no like official evidential ties to this HeHub acquisition, is not good enough, bro. You can't just be saying these accusations about Drake without actual evidence. And they go into more like, why do Zionists all own the corn companies? Then they go into the creator of OnlyFans ran shady and exploitative porn sites in the 90s, sued by Microsoft. How does that relate? The shady secret history of OnlyFans billionaire owner. Someone in the Reddit has to have a brain and like think that this is all just coincidental, or not even coincidental, but outlandish. And I stand corrected. Of all the theories we have in this subreddit, this is one that I think is the most legitimate because Kendrick says it right in the song. It's actually crazy that just because somebody like puts together very loosely connected pieces of information that aren't even associated with Drake, somehow they like go down this rabbit hole and just swing it back to, yeah, Drake is associated with these porn companies. Like, and just because someone said it on the internet, so many people will believe it, and without even using their own logic and brain, just take it as fact. That's what the problem with this planet and even politics is. I have a feeling Drake is about to catch a case really soon. He can't toozy slide out of this one. CA caught lying about everything that happened that night. EP submitting his evidence of child abuse to the higher-ups and lawyers, confirming this is what happened to when he teased the report documents. Blind items alluding to the fact that Drake had been set up in a sting operation at the Marks Hotel with the Ebony Prince situation. And there was footage which explains the cops watching whoever left and entered his New York show that night, and the Epstein protesters, reporters outside the Mark as well during this time. To add all of this, another blind item said that Drake snitched on Diddy to save himself, and even Kanye and multiple notable people had said Diddy was with the feds, which makes sense given how he's never accountable for his crimes. Well, he now is getting tried substantially, to be honest, and has been sued like up to almost 1,200 times. This makes it interesting because the same lawyer that was dealing with Lucian Graange, UMG, and Diddy in the original trial with Lil Rod is also the same one representing the R case against academics, and this was after EP warned him and Lucian Graange was dropped from the Diddy suit. Well, a lot of these big time lawyers, especially in the entertainment industry, will take on these cases because they won another case. That's how lawyers get their credibility. They're more likely to win another case for another entertainment person because they're similar situations. And even if we get a little deeper, the 2014 domestic violence incident involving Kendrick had gossip sites talking about how Diddy was there the same night Kendrick was. And I have a feeling when Drake mentioned crisis management team to hide what happened that night, it was Diddy's team, which resulted in no police case being filed over the beaten women and Kendrick being blamed because Diddy and him had an altercation the year before. This would give him motive to tell the security guard in that video to say Kendrick's name to ruin his image despite the guard never having seen him during the crime. Well, wouldn't his ex-wife think they're divorced, right? Well, I just looked it up and there isn't much information, but some people are saying that she took off her engagement ring. That doesn't necessarily mean that they divorced or anything. Could be like she lost it or I don't know, took it off. My dad doesn't wear his wedding ring because it fucks up his finger. But I would assume if there was a domestic violence charge, like his wife or ex-fiance or whatever she would be deemed as now, would not have testified or confirmed said violence if it didn't actually happen. So I don't know how we're bringing Diddy into this case, dog. Like, people are just pulling random coincidental facts or actually speculation into this without any proof. What proves this further is that right after the Cassie video dropped, all the old sites mentioning that night were being removed, but it was never an issue before then. I think EP has done a great job at bringing attention to all this without revealing too much. And I have a feeling if we follow the same trends that led up to this point, that Drake is up next on the chopping block. So they think that he's about to get like a huge trafficking case just like Diddy, but I really doubt it, dog. It's been a whole ass year since the Kendrick and Drake situation. You would have thought that there'd be something to rise to the surface by this time, but hey, maybe they're building a case as we speak. Now, there was another video of Wack 100 on No Jumper saying that he has some crazy info about Drake that he doesn't want to give up, and he's just telling, I think, Top 5, one of Drake's shooters, allegedly, to calm down and stop talking before he releases it.
Drake need to get away from Top 5.
Why do you think he's...
There you go, Top 5.
Bad news.
Bad news.
Why?
This is how much respect I got for you, Drake.
A USB drive, bruh.
A hard drive? USB drive?
This is how much respect I have for you. I'm telling you, somebody listening, Drake, hear me, no troll on Power Road. You need to get away from that dude. This has been in existence about 90 days, and I have made sure it hasn't went anywhere, personally. I think you know what I'm talking about. That dude with his mouth and the things he say does not support your career and as far as you come. I'm telling you as a brother, this is how much I got respect for you.
That's the red button?
And if you have something here, I'm gonna let you plug into it and look at it when we're done.
What is it?
You're gonna see how much. Get the fuck away from Top 5, bro. Y'all world, remember, I'm warning Drake. He's gonna have you hemmed up, called up, and cuffed up. Dude is reckless with his mouth. He ties you to things, and he's a dumbass. This is how much respect I got for you.
I think what Wack 100 is talking about is how Top 5 is obviously, I think he just went on the run, like cut off his ankle monitor, and he's linked to murders and whatever. He's in a gang in Toronto that Drake is affiliated with. And with Top 5 running his mouth on Instagram stories, being on IG lives on academics, Twitch streams and everything, that's the start of an actual RICO case against Drake, especially if he's funding it by giving money to his protection in Toronto, which a lot of rappers do by paying gang members and everything so that you're good wherever you go within the city, you know? He's probably an informant. That could be true too. And apparently what was said in this clip later on or before was Adam 16, but this is different. I don't think Drake's got a real hands-on connection with him, Top 5. I don't think Drake's ordering bodies through Top 5. Wack 100 grabs the USB drive and says, this right here. Oh Lord. That was another thing that I was seeing a lot of on this subreddit, people trying to tie Drake to ordering hits and whatnot through crypto transactions, but I couldn't find actual legit evidence that that was his wallet, or this wallet paid somebody that's identified as somebody within the gang, and then that paid for a hit. Because the whole thing about crypto is that it's like kind of anonymous. Of course, there's blockchain, and that transaction is always going to be existing on the internet, but you don't necessarily know whose wallet that is, you know, or what it was for. SZA wearing this jacket in the video. X is wearing a Winnie the Pooh like denim varsity jacket, okay? And it looks like SZA is wearing something very similar, or maybe the same jacket. It's got the same like colorway from the sleeves, but I don't know. This SZA's might look like leather, not, it's too shiny to be denim if you ask me. Or maybe that is denim, I don't know. This is a collar too. Does X's have a collar? Dog, what is up with everyone just like lying? Somebody in the comments gotta tell him that that's not the same jacket, right? Wow, so Kenny's basically saying it's only a matter of time before Drake gets busted for XXX murder, right? Close enough. And on top of that, the Kanye tweet today about Drake and X. And Kanye's tweet was what? You think Drake would triple X me? Well, he's already with one X, so he just needs two more. Was he talking about him? And I feel like the rumors are so widespread about him killing X, that's just like a joke, so to speak. And you know, Kanye's twisted mind. But yeah, the fact that Reddit comments are saying close enough, even though literally it's not the same jacket. So how are you gonna draw the connection to it being X's jacket? The pic of this jacket is not just one he wore, it was the jacket he wore the day he was killed. If it's the same jacket, then they mean it's the jacket. Okay, finally someone with a brain. I don't think it's the same jacket though. SZA's has a different collar. Dark Kenny, please. I mess with the content, but do better. Kendrick was right. There's a major shift happening within the music industry. I recently came across this tweet. I heard Atlantic Records dropped 50 artists today. Let go of all label partners. Rumor was most of them were black. The exodus is about to begin. When they say they're going to save money, this is how they do it. This was 9 months ago. Yeah, I did hear about Atlantic. Actually, a lot of labels, just because the economy is not doing well. And frankly, rap streams are down. As we know, country and pop are kind of dominating the charts right now, aside from like a couple artists like Drake and Kendrick. And to be honest, every label drops like hundreds, maybe even thousands of artists every single year, which made me go all the way back to the Joe Budden clip where he said this. Joe Budden discusses the current state of music labels and restructuring, with Elliot Graange becoming CEO of Atlantic Music Group and Julie Greenwald leaving. Elliot and Lucian Graange would control a third of the US recorded music market. So Elliot Graange used to own 10K Projects, but I believe he sold it to Atlantic or another larger label, and then he became the CEO of Atlantic. And Lucian Graange, I believe, is the president or chairman or something of Universal Music Group, which is the largest music label in the world. So father and son controlling a large portion of the music industry, especially rap. I think Atlantic is under Warner, which is another one of the big three, but Atlantic is a subsidiary of it, but still a very large record label in its own right. Elliot is Lucian's son, and as soon as they forced Julie Greenwald to leave, he gave his son the key to Atlantic Records, and now they control a monopoly of the music industry. Let's fact check that. Lucian Graange, CEO of Universal Music Group. Atlantic Records is owned by Warner Music Group. So again, get your facts straight, bro. Lucian Graange does not have the power to give a large seat, a CEO position, from a different competing major record label to his son. Does he have connections? Sure. But it's actually a competitor. And from what I've heard, Elliot Graange was kind of like doing it in spite of his father by selling 10K to Warner instead of Universal. And I was right. 10K Projects was previously under Universal Music Group. Initially, 10K Projects was launched by Elliot Graange in 2016 under UMG's Capitol Music Group umbrella. So yeah, he basically transitioned it to Warner Music Group through a joint venture, becoming a standalone label within WMG. So I do not think that this was like a father-son power duo thing. It was kind of like, fuck you, dad, I'm doing my own thing. And now they control a monopoly of the music industry just within their family, and in the process can do whatever they want, including removing real artists and pushing AI, backing artists that will be their puppets and controlling what music consumers get to hear and what they don't want you to hear. Where did AI come into this? Timbaland is the one that's pushing an AI artist. I want you guys to also keep in mind Eldridge Industries is owned by Todd Bowley, who is allies with Lucian Graange. I'm on his website and none of this seems to make sense. This looks like a private equity type company. I don't know why this is relevant context whatsoever. His company owns Billboard Awards. Funny how Drake no longer wins Grammys and only wins Billboard Awards. Luminate, this literally tells Billboard how much an artist streamed and sold. They control the numbers as well. Rolling Stone, which recently did an article on how hypocritical Kendrick was and said the same talking points of academics and Drizzy fans. This is starting to make sense a little bit. And those are just 3 companies. At the same time, isn't Drake having a Universal Music Group battle, like lawsuit, where he's suing his own label because of how they allowed Kendrick, who is signed under the same label of Universal Music Group? And so wouldn't Lucian Graange and his buddy, as the original poster said, want to push Kendrick Lamar narratives too? It's like they pick and choose which facts directly help their argument, but everybody does that, I guess. We're all biased. And those are just 3 companies they own. They also own Variety, as well as almost every other major music journalism group, so they fully control the narrative and conversation. I mean, the whole conversation and narrative in every music journalism site was basically destroy Drake and go Kendrick Lamar. I think Kendrick knew about all this. He saw all the fake push to get Drake to be the golden child, and he knows that him going after Drake and now calling out the industry is going to result in them going after him. The music industry is corrupt and rigged. They took out major artists like Michael Jackson's for speaking out, and every time someone does say something, they get allegations thrown at them publicly and a major media push to destroy them from the culture. Kendrick is smart for aligning himself with Jay-Z, and I know he's ready for war, but this is going to get ugly because the powers behind the entire music industry are going to do everything they can to suppress and get rid of him if he keeps trying to expose and destroy what they're trying to build. Dog, I think Kendrick at this point is the golden child. Everybody's coming after Drake. Drake continues to stream because people like his music, but Kendrick has the people on his side, you know? This subreddit is just a bunch of Kendrick dick riders, I can't lie. Here's a funny one. Claudia. So I think the mugshot of this girl went viral because there's like the mugshot shawties or whatever where hot girls basically get arrested, and that's just something you don't normally see. It's a rare sight. It's a legendary Pokemon. But this headline says glamorous El Chapo drug cartel assassin who posed in a bikini and with an AK-47, pink one mind you, she's playing real life Call of Duty, and was known as the Empress of Anthrax. That's a poison, I'm pretty sure, like kill you, is found dead amid suspicions her death may have been a hit. Probably if she was the El Chapo drug cartel assassin. Probably lures people in with, you know, her prowess, her goods, and then takes them out while they're sleeping. Cardi B 'em. She was found dead in her private residence in Culiacan on the 14th of September 2019 due to pulmonary aspiration caused by a drug overdose. Okay. Or she just did it herself. I don't know. She was pronounced dead at the scene. She was with an unidentified man. People claim to rumor online that Felix had been assassinated due to her affiliations with the infamous Los Anthrax squad. Claudia is her name, assured that she was Drake's crush, who followed each other on social networks and sent messages, they say. When she died, Drake and Claudia were in Twitter trends. Oh my God, they're trying to link Drake up with literally every famous person's death. And they show proof of Champagne Poppy following Claudia, and then she showed the receipts of their messages together. Drake said he slid in trying to hit El Chapo's cartel assassin. I know about you because I love Mexico. I read everything about it in my free time. So a couple years ago, they would talk about you a lot. And I was like, this woman seems like a movie character. Lol, I just thought you were very interesting and obviously very beautiful. She says, thank you, ha ha ha. And by the way, my girl's Latina, so this ain't even, you know, I know how they speak. I am a common Mexicana. Del alagador no sé inglés, I'll have to learn. I don't know what alagador is, but I'll alagador you. But she said she doesn't know English, she'll have to learn. He said, did you understand that message I wrote? I need to learn Spanish. Ha 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 ha. That's how you know someone is Latino. They start using the J's. Ha 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 ha. And then she posted on her page too. Not even just the story. This is the #1 thing about when you get DM'd by a famous dude or famous girl, don't expose the DMs. They gonna cut you off right there. He said, I have read many things. I think you are epic. She says, ha 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 ha. Drake says, I don't believe this is really you though. One time someone messaged me from a page and said it was you, but then they admitted they were pretending, which is probably true. This page is probably fake. You think an assassin is on Instagram? Hell no, this is a catfish. He says, well, let me know the new number. He's trying to put this on his hit list. I don't know how the pictures of the bricks of cocaine connect to this, but I guess she was a drug lord, so yeah. She's bad, bro. But yeah, I need to go to sleep because these conspiracy theories have literally microwaved my brain into just one last brain cell. I need to take some multivitamins or something. I really do not have a good outlook on humanity at this point because the internet is destroying our minds. Like, people will literally believe anything and draw the most heinous connections down a huge rabbit hole where just because something is connected to another and then you keep drawing connections from the end point of the last connection does not mean that you can connect it all the way to the very beginning, which is Drake. You know what I'm saying? But y'all let me know in the comments what you think about all of these Drake allegations, rumors, the RICO case that this subreddit is trying to build against the sixth god. I personally don't believe all too much of it, but hey, they did find some interesting facts. I can't lie. It's been your boy Bobbalam signing off. Make sure to like and subscribe, join the Bob gang if you with it. I'll see y'all later. Peace out, cloud of people. Know what I'm saying?